something. We found something.
12 men have just discovered something. For 100,000 years, it was buried in the snow and ice. Now it has found a place to live.
I'm Luke Summerhays, and I love Kyurem. When we talked about Reshiram and Zekrom, we talked about the yin and yang, the duality of all things, and various dichotomies like light and dark, male and female, truth and ideals. This concept makes a lot of intuitive sense for people, but there is a third option, which is much harder for people to accept and comprehend. Nothingness. The word in Japanese and Korean is mu, in Chinese wu. I remember seeing this kanji for mu in Death Note when light finally dies and there's nothing afterwards. An old Buddhist riddle involves a master asking, does a dog have the Buddha nature or not? And the answer is mu. It unasks the question, or rather it answers neither. All things have a Buddha nature, so the answer is yes. But a dog could never be aware of it, so the answer is no. The point is to remove yourself from analytical thinking with binary answers. The embodiment of this nothingness is Kyurem, an ice and dragon Pokemon found in the post-game of Pokemon Black and White, and on the box of Black 2 and White 2. Reshiram includes the Japanese word shiro, or white, while Zekrom includes the Japanese word kuro, or black. But while Kyurem's name sounds a little like the English word grey, the Japanese words it incorporates are rei, or zero, and mu, nothingness. Kyuremu. This is because Kyurem is the husk, the nothing, left behind when the original dragons split to form Reshiram and Zekrom. Its ice typing is a testament to the lack of heat or energy, the absolute zero. Pokemon Black tells us, it generates a powerful freezing energy inside itself, but its body became frozen when the energy leaked out. And Pokemon White says, it can produce ultra-cold air. Its body is frozen. Welcome to the final Does Andy Remember Gen 5 Pokemon?
And if so, does he have any thoughts about them?
Kyurem.
It's a disappointing one to end on, really, isn't it?
Is it?
I don't know what it is, so in that regard, sure.
It's the dragon that split in half and formed Zekrom and Reshiram.
I was thinking it does look a bit like them smashed together, so that does make sense. The maths checks out. Great. How do you get one? Do you have to have both of them?
No, you get it in like a little cave in the post-game, like Giratina or whatever.
Oh, that's a bit disappointing.
But then in Black 2 and White 2, it's the box one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, they've got different boxes, haven't they?
Yeah, because there's Kyurem Black and Kyurem White.
Oh, confusing.
Forms, isn't it?
I don't really like it when Pokemon have forms, to be honest with you.
Do you not?
Nah, like, you know, get over yourself.
Kyurem has an immensely high physical and special attack, which along with the interesting dragon and ice typing, made it an unpredictable competitive battler, which, appropriately, wasn't one answer or another. The concept of yin and yang is often treated as a mysterious foreign thing in Western media and culture. But of course, China is not another planet, and even the Roman Empire was aware of the Chinese one. For millennia, goods and knowledge have been traded along the Silk Road, and European alchemy was inspired by, and went on to inspire, Asian medicine and science. So in European alchemy we had the three essentials of sulfic salt, sulfic mercury, and sulfic sulfur. Mercury and sulfur were represented by a fluffy white dragon and a scaly black one, while salt, which combined those other two, was represented by a three-headed dragon. Some Pokemon fans argue whether the Tao Trio are based on Asian yin and yang, or European alchemy. But actually, separating those two is as artificial as trying to decide if a dog has a Buddha nature or not. It's both, and neither. Similarly, Kyurem separated from Reshiram and Zekrom, but that doesn't mean they are permanently separate. In Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, Kyurem can combine with Reshiram to form White Kyurem, or Zekrom to form Black Kyurem, through some Team Plasma of evil shenanigans. Black 2 and White 2 tell us, "This legendary ice Pokemon waits for a hero to fill in the missing parts of its body with truth or ideals." White Kyurem jumps Kyurem's special attack up to genuinely preposterous levels. It has Reshiram's ability Turbo Blaze, letting it ignore abilities which would weaken it, and learns the moves Fusion Flare and Ice Burn by leveling up, adding fire to the already mighty Dragon and Ice combo. Pokemon Sword tells us, "The sameness of Reshiram's and Kyurem's genes allowed Kyurem to absorb Reshiram. Kyurem can now use the power of both fire and ice." And Pokemon Shield says, "It has foreseen that a world of truth will arrive for people and Pokemon. It strives to protect that future." Black Kyurem, on the other hand, has Zekrom's ability Terravolt, and learns the moves Fusion Bolt and Freeze Shock by leveling up. Rather than a boosted special attack, its physical attack is pumped up. Like Kyurem White, it was a beast to fight against, but there weren't quite as many nice physical moves to use as there were special. Pokemon Sword says, "It is said that this Pokemon battles in order to protect the ideal world that will exist in the future for people and Pokemon." And Shield, "The sameness of Zekrom's and Kyurem's genes allows Kyurem to absorb Zekrom. Kyurem can now use the power of both electricity and ice." Kyurem is hardly mentioned in the Pokemon movies Black and White, two versions of the same film with the starring monsters swapped between Zekrom and Reshiram. But it did appear in its own movie, Kyurem and the Sword of Justice. In this movie, Kyurem is basically just a Grumpasaurus in a cave, which Keldeo decides to fight as a way to prove itself, like a classic dragon-slaying hero. But like Gawain and the Green Knight, Keldeo must honour this duel, even though Kyurem will destroy it. Tied to a world of Asian philosophy, of which I am barely scratching the surface when I talk about it here, and also invoking classic European tales of knights, the Tau Trio are very cool monsters, but they seem like an odd choice of mascots for a region based on New York. With Team Plasma also dressing as knights and inhabiting castles, it might seem that the team at Game Freak were not yet fully committed to basing Pokemon regions on real places, the way they would be in the 3D era. On the other hand, perhaps a melting pot of Asian and European influences, all coming together to represent a place torn between the truth of it and its ideals, is actually perfect for Pokemon's first American region. Original music for Luke Loves Pokemon is by Jonathan Cromie. Artwork is by Katie Groves. Funding is provided by listeners at Patreon. If you enjoy this podcast and want to check out other shows by me and my friends, head to podcastiopodcastius.org. I love hearing from listeners. Get in touch about upcoming Pokemon on Twitter or Facebook at LukeLovesPKMN. Drop a comment if you're watching the video, or a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Coming up are Keldeo and Meloetta, so please get in touch about those or any other monsters. Even if you don't feel like doing any of that, thank you so much just for listening. I love Kyurem, and remember, I love you too.